is Clear Experiences. Today we have a good episode for you. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with everyone you know. You don't want to miss out. When our dreams come to us for how we want to build our business or how we want our event to go, many times we see ourselves in every area of building the idea. We are the support staff, the head chef, the bottle washer, all of the different things to bring this dream to fruition. But did you know that you didn't have to do all the parts of your vision by yourself? In fact, you shouldn't. I know it says it's lonely at the top, but no one sustains success by doing it alone. Today, my guest Shayla Rene has a thriving business that helps individuals bring their wedding and event ideas to life. She does this by alleviating their stress through her wedding development and execution. However, while bringing her business to fruition, she had to learn to do the very thing that she does for others. Let go of control and build a team that can help her to thrive. Today, my guest is someone who I have experienced, admired from afar, and have seen bloomed on the wedding scene as a coordinator, or as I like to call her, a wedding creative. She is amazing at what she does, y'all. She's a woman on the move and definitely living in her purpose. Miss Shayla Rene, the founder of Sonju Wedding and Events, is here with me today. Welcome to My Vision is Clear Experiences, Shayla. How you doing?
Thank you. I am well, Elaine. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I am great. I am excited you're here. I mean, I'm just looking forward to getting into this conversation because I have known you for a while.
Yes.
And I've seen you go through different stages and different things, but one thing has always been consistent is your creativity, your creative ability. And I sit back and I'm amazed at it, and I'm like, now that you're doing your thing in this area, I'm like, I have to have her on my show because I just want to hear your journey. But before we get there, although I know you, I don't know everything about you, right? So tell me one unique thing about you that I probably wouldn't guess that would that would be something that you would do.
One unique thing about me. Well, okay, let's see. One unique thing that Elaine may not know. Okay. I was like, Jesus, give it to me. And Jesus just gave it to me. So I'll be 37 in June, right? So one unique thing that you may not know about me is that your girl had her little life all planned out when she was younger. And I had planned to be married by the time I was 25 and done having my children by the time I was 30. And we were just going to be living our best lives.
Wow.
That was my plan.
That was your plan, yes. I didn't
We're
know
not
that.
there yet. See?
Not yet. Not yet.
We're not there yet. We on our way.
Put my hands up in praise. Yes, claim that. I love
Yes,
it. So we're going to jump right on in. So Shayla, tell us a little bit about Sonju Wedding and Events.
Yes. So I think where I would like to start, if I may, is even the name. Because oftentimes, on social media, you get DMs and people come into my DMs and they're like, "Oh, hey, Sonju, I would like to da 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 da," or "I love your style, I love your work." And so, essentially, I am Sonju. However, I have to. Some people I don't go through the hassle of saying, "Actually, my name is Shayla Rene." Da 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 da. I just move forward as Sonju. But where the name stemmed from is actually a combination of Aunt Judy and Uncle Sonny's name. So,
Wow.
Son is from Sonny, Jew is from Judy. And so the story goes a little bit like this. One Sabbath afternoon, we were just resting. I don't know how we got on the topic or the conversation of millennials in naming their firstborn child, some of them name their firstborn child like a combination of the husband and the wife's name, right?
Right.
And so I gave examples, and in giving those examples, we got quiet. And then my mom was like, if you were really, if you were a product of Poppy and I, like if we actually made you and I birthed you, I would have named you Sonju. And I was like, oh my gosh, mommy, that's it. When I go into business for myself again, it's going to be Sonju Enterprises, and everything that falls under Sonju Enterprises is going to be
Yeah.
Sonju, and then whatever the thing is. So, Sonju Weddings and Events, that's where the name came from. Essentially, I am Sonju, but it also pays homage to the blessing of parents that I have now. So, what I pride myself in is holistically providing guidance and clarity to brides, specifically the modern industrial chic bride. Like, that's my girl, you
I
know?
love it. Yes.
And just giving her the support that she needs so that she can have the happiest day of her life. And in order for that to happen, you have to have effective wedding plan development and execution. So I holistically guide and provide the modern industrial chic bride
Mm-hmm.
with support so that she can have the happiest day of her life via effective wedding plan development and execution worldwide. And I'm intentional about saying worldwide because I want people to know that I travel.
Yeah. And that's very important, that this is something that's not just local, that they can call
Hmm.
you from anywhere and you will be there. And so I
Yes,
love that.
ma'am.
I love that.
Bam, bam. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I love it. So this gift of being creative, where did that
Hmm.
begin for you, and when did you realize that this is a gift of yours that you wanted to incorporate in anything that you did?
Yeah, sure. So when I was younger, I used to my mother is Bermudian, my grandmother is Bermudian, so I had the privilege of going overseas and living with my grandmother in Bermuda for about a year and a half. And
Nice.
it was during that time, my grandmother, my grandmother was very creative herself. Okay.
Mm.
So I kind of, and my mom was very creative. And so when
That
I
was in
was
your
in
DNA.
it's in my DNA. Like I
Yes.
just couldn't escape it.
Right.
And so I'll never forget when I was in second grade while living in Bermuda, we were having a parade of costumes for Halloween, right? And
Mm.
so all the girls were talking about their costumes, and I wanted to be a bride because all the other girls were coming like as princesses, and they were gonna have on these gowns. And I was like, Nanny, I want to be a bride too. And she was like, why do you want to go and be a bride before your time? Why are you rushing to be a bride? There'll be plenty of time for that. We're going to think of something creative. And I'm like, but I want to be a bride.
Mm.
She wasn't here
That's
for it. So,
right.
long story short, Nanny said, I know you're going to be a gypsy. And I was like, a gypsy? I'm not feeling that. Nonetheless, my grandmother and her creative fashion went and got like the clothes and stuff out of her closet, jewelry out of her
Wow.
closet, and she came to my school, got me all dressed up, and your girl won first place in the parade as a
What?
gypsy.
I love it.
So from there, I was just like, you know what? I that's one of my stories that I constantly tell when I'm asked about
Yeah.
like my creativity and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because I know that that sparked it. And I tapped into it with it's okay to stand out. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique.
Mm.
And I think that that's a very important component for brides and grooms to understand when they're going through the process of planning their wedding. Like there's no right or wrong way of doing it. We have the traditional way that things have been
Right.
done,
Right.
but you're paying all this money.
Right.
It's
Make
about
it your
y'all. So do
own.
what you
That's
want.
right.
Like make it your own.
Yes.
So I think as far as me overall as a creative, I would say that I started tapping into that at a young age, like six,
Mm-hmm.
7 years old. And then as it pertains specifically to weddings, back in 2015, I was asked to be a wedding coordinator for a wedding that had a guest list of over 325 people. And I did everything. I did the backdrop, I did the centerpieces, I did the aisle markers, I did the dessert take, like I did
Now wait a minute.
everything.
You had you done weddings before this time?
So no, I hadn't. But so backstory, I used to be the events coordinator
Mm-hmm.
for a education office for a private sector schools. And
Mm-hmm.
so this particular bride was the principal at our academy. So, she
Mm-hmm.
has seen me in action. She's seen me like when it came time for like the teachers' meetings and stuff like that. She had seen me in action. And that's how she actually proposed to me. She was like, I watch you and how you execute, and I think you would execute my wedding very well. So I want you to be
Wow.
my wedding coordinator. And I was like, okay,
Sure.
I'm up
You
for
never
the
know who's watching.
challenge. Yeah, and you know what, Elaine, I did that wedding, and after everything got set up, I stood back and I looked at it. I was like, wow, Jesus, we did that.
And
And
that's
I
why I want to.
saw how I
That's
could monetize it.
yes, because I want to stop there because I again I like I have stated I experienced you right, and I've
Yeah,
experienced you in
yeah,
different creative. Well, let me say in different areas where you were creative,
yes,
and from dance to events to different things at church and stuff like that. And
yeah.
so I wanted when you stated that when you did this wedding and you sat back and you looked in awe and you were like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you didn't feel that with the other areas that you are being creative? I would like to say the other areas of curiosity
Mm.
as you were exploring your creativity. Was that the first time you felt that feeling when you did the wedding?
So no, because
Okay.
I have prior to that, I think even during that time, I still may have had my dance studio at that time.
Okay.
And so I've had that before, but I don't know, with that wedding, it's almost like I tapped into another zone of genius,
Mm. Mm.
and I saw the impact that I had not only on the bride and the groom, but their parents.
Yeah.
And then not only their parents, but the guests. And then
Mm-hmm.
not only their guests, but the vendors that we were working with.
Yeah.
And then not only their vendors, the bridal party. And so I reflected in that moment on everything that I did. I was like, I could take this and do very well with it, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like
I'm
you
just gonna
saw.
plug my charger in.
Okay.
Redo that.
Redo what?
That whatever you're about to do right now, because yeah, you gotta redo that.
What are we redoing?
You're redoing the. I saw that I can do this and do really very well with it.
Okay.
That's on your side, Shayla.
Okay. So, I stepped back and I saw the amount of impact that I had positively um, with executing on behalf of the couple. And I saw how well I was able to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, Lori, I could take this. There's no reason for me not to take this and monetize it. It was another, again, just another zone of genius that in that moment I saw I could operate and operate well in it.
Yeah. And I love that you didn't think about, at least from what I'm hearing, you didn't really think about anything that you may or may not have experienced in that field. You saw an opportunity and you went for it, and you took the Lord with you, and
Mhm.
here you are. And I think that that is so important because many times we will be given opportunities
Mhm.
without realizing or tapping into our talent, our gift, or our ability, but other people are watching based on other things you've done, and then they'll
Yeah.
ask you, and sometimes you'll say, "Me? No, let me refer you to somebody else." Right? You'll
Yeah.
miss it on that
Yeah.
opportunity, but you didn't do that, and so I find that very admirable and
Thank you.
encouraging, because a lot of times we have that problem where we hold those things against us, and that doesn't keep us from moving forward. So then it comes to like my next question, like you're going into an industry that could be oversaturated, right? That has
Hmm.
a lot of wedding coordinators and wedding industry, right? And
Hmm.
so, what did you feel like you had that would make you stand out? That you felt like this is a need in this industry, and I could fulfill that need.
Yeah. So what I'm finding even more so now than when I first started out. When I first started out, it was just like we're gonna figure this thing out, you know? Um, someone sees and believes that I can execute on their behalf, and I know that I'm capable of doing it because I do it every day at work,
Yeah.
and so I know that I'm capable. And then with the church, I'm always one of the go-to people for like events and stuff like that ever since I was younger, because people have always seen, I guess, like that creative
Yeah.
genius on me, if you will. And
Yep.
so when I first started, I may not have figured out like my it thing, but
Yeah.
now I know my it thing. Um, a lot of the wedding industry can be a little oversaturated,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone is posting and sharing and talking about the end product.
Yeah.
So the beautiful, opulent, luxurious centerpieces and the hanging crystals and the uplighting and the mirror dance floors and all that good stuff.
Right.
And all that stuff is beautiful. All that stuff is amazing. But at the end of the day, the couple, they have to not only rev up for the I do, but life beyond the I do.
Mm.
So when it comes to my planning process, I'm taking a holistic approach that is not just focusing on getting to the wedding day. Yeah, I don't care about that. I care about it, but I don't care. I want to
Right.
make sure that leading up to and throughout this process, that you are supported, that you feel that you are
Mm.
heard, that you feel that you are valued, because oftentimes the bridal party will let you know what their needs and their demands and what they want. Your parents,
Yes.
and especially if they're huge investors in this massive event, they're going to
Yes.
let you know their desires and what they want and what they do not want. And so you have to make sure. And then your vendors, some vendors will try to tell you how to do your day when you're hiring them to do what it is that you
Mm.
want. So
Girl, you talking right. Go ahead.
yeah, so with that, I just think that it's important for my brides to feel supported, in that they know
Mm.
that they can land at me, and they know that I'm going to pray for them. So one of the things that I do, this is what I know for a fact, this is something that sets me apart.
Right.
Whenever I confirm a couple, I ask for them to send me either a picture of themselves or their save the date,
Yeah.
and I put them up in my war room, in my prayer room, and I
Mm.
pray for them. You know,
Yeah.
I'm intentional in that way because ultimately, Christ's plan, God's plan is what's going to prevail. So we can
Mm.
plan and we can mitigate and we can say we want this and we want that. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that only what we do for Christ will last. And that's
Last.
even as it pertains to your wedding. So I
Mm.
would vouch to say what sets me apart. I'm making sure that those fine details
Yeah.
don't get lost in the big ones. And then I'm also making sure that while you're revving up for saying I do, that you're also making sure that you're prepared for life beyond the I do.
Yes. I love that. I mean, that as you're speaking, it really just makes me think about my process when I was getting married. I'm going to be married 15
Hmm.
years. this year, and
Congratulations.
thank you, it's the Lord Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for getting us through. It's been a wonderful
Right.
journey. Um,
Yeah.
but I can vividly remember, the whole conversation about bridesmaids bringing things up to you that's not necessary. And
Mhm.
I had two coordinators, one for the ceremony and one for the reception, and in my mind I felt like, oh, that's perfect or whatever, but
Mhm.
it was a lot. And I think one of the things that I love that you do is that you care about the mental part, the spiritual part
Mhm.
of the bride
Mhm.
and the groom, which I love. That
Mhm.
was what you say, because a lot of the times, the bride gets the all of
Mhm.
the attention, and
Mhm.
that you pray for them, that you put them in
Mhm.
their war room. I love that. I want you to talk a little bit more about the war room. Like,
Okay.
what is that? What does that look like?
So I have a closet in my apartment. I
Mm-hmm.
have a couple of closets. I
Mm-hmm.
have one of them, and it's actually the walk-in closet. I
Mm.
converted it to my prayer and manifestation room, also known as a war room. So I'm pretty sure many of us have heard or seen that movie War Room that was out some
Yes.
years ago. And I remember when that came out, I was still, home in the DC, Maryland area. And at
Mm-hmm.
Brinklow, we had women's ministries. We had pretty much like made a war room at the church,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it was a prayer room. It was a safe space that women could go, and we had a wall for prayers up. We had a little prayer
Yes.
box just in case people didn't want their prayers to be posted on the wall, if they wanted to be a little bit more private. And after watching the movie and participating in the activity with the church, I was like, I need to be a little bit more intentional about my prayer life. So I
Mm.
converted a closet, and I kept with that when I relocated to Huntsville. So I converted a closet, and it's my prayer and manifestation room, and I'm intentional. Before, I was still trying to make it functional as a closet, and it was just distracting, clothes hanging up in
Yeah.
there. So there are
Yeah.
no clothes in there.
Oh, yes.
And there's one wall just has nothing but prayers that I've prayed over the last, what is this, 21, probably over the last 5 or 6 years. And
Wow.
I have like the date written on some of them of when those prayers were answered. I go in, and I have a section dedicated to my couples.
Mm.
And there are couples that don't work with me, and I ask them, I would like to hold space for you, and I want to put you in my prayer manifestation room. I want to put you in my prayer room. If you wouldn't mind sending me like a picture of yourselves, and like what are your top 3 things that you want me to pray for? And I do
Mm.
that. Like, I'm one of those people, when you say pray for me, I'm stopping right then and I'm praying.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, I have all of that in there. And then I have like my affirmations on the wall in there. I have a mirror in there so that when I'm saying my affirmations, I'm looking at myself. And when I'm consistent with it, I have a section where I have like my Bible and my devotional, my prayer journal, and then like prayer books or, spiritual books that I
Yes.
may be reading. So when I'm really intentional about it, it really pays off. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm doing it for it to pay off, if that makes sense.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
I notice the difference when I'm really consistent with it. Like, the
Mm.
intentionality is there, but when I'm consistent with it, it's just amazing what God does. Like, I put my goals, my visions,
Yeah.
what I'm foreseeing for myself, and that
Yes.
has contributed to my vision being clear. Like,
Oh,
me spending
yes.
time in that
Yes.
space.
I love that. Yes. Vision being clear. You know what? I'm all
Yes,
about
ma'am.
that.
I
And I
know.
love that um, use a tool. You use a tool that
Yes.
helps you, and there's many tools to that. Your manifestation board, the names, the
Yes.
pictures. You're praying over them. I would even go further to say that you have a supportive team. You have accountability
Mhm.
team that helps to get you through, and obviously
Yeah.
God, who's the most important,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
who really gets you through this journey, this experience that you're going through. And so I
Yes.
wonder how easy or difficult has
Mhm.
this journey been for you? Um,
Mhm.
and how do you incorporate God in your accountability, and how do you keep motivated through this process?
So it's been hard.
Yeah.
There's been times when I'm like, all right, Jesus, like I know that this is something that you told me to do, but right now this is not making sense, and I don't think I'm going to
Yeah.
be able to continue to do this anymore. I got burned by a client a couple of years ago, almost
Mm-hmm.
now. And at that point, I was like, I just, because I give so much of myself, what we spell out in the agreement, that is just surface. It doesn't speak to the amount of just me being who I am and how I am. It doesn't speak to the amount. If I was to itemize every single thing that I did,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
It's yeah, yeah. The contract would be
it
like 5, 6, 7 pages. Yeah.
probably like 20.
Thank
So
you.
I got burned by this couple and it was my own fault. And so while it's been hard, instead of me giving up, I've taken the hard moments and the low moments as opportunities to lean into God a little bit more because I'm like, okay, ultimately you're wanting my attention here, but
Right.
then to also use them as learning experiences. So I
Yeah.
realized in that moment I was being anxious to book, you know. I had set an aggressive goal that I wanted ten weddings a year, and by any means necessary, I was going to get 10 weddings a year. Like I
Hello.
wasn't specific on like what type of bride I worked with. So I settled for what landed in my lap, and I don't have to do that. And I don't do that now. And what I mean by settling, if you come to me trying to nickel and dime and chop and screw my offer, I'm going to respectfully decline and let you know that I may not be the coordinator for you to move forward with at this
Yes.
time. However, should you change your mind and you feel that this is an investment that you're ready to make, feel free to reach out to me. And then I ask, but before we go, what's a number that makes you comfortable? Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that brides are supported, that they're heard, and that they're valued. So,
Wow.
what's a number that makes you feel comfortable? So, at the end of the day, like the brides that land either on my website or end up in my DMs or on my social media feed or they end up booking a discovery call with me. Ideally, are they all going to be the modern industrial chic bride? No. And so I think it's important that regardless of what the bridal style is or what the bridal need, the bride's need is or what their need is as a couple,
Yeah.
when they land at on any of that they feel safe, that they feel supported, that they feel heard, that they feel valued. So if they opt that they don't want to move forward with me because they are chopping and screwing my package, so that lets me know that they don't potentially want to move forward because they feel like the investment might not be one that they want to make at that time. And that's totally fine. I
Yeah.
asked that qualifying question: what's a number that works for you? Like, what number makes you feel comfortable? What number makes you feel good right now? And all contingent upon what that number is, I have other ways that I can support them outside of my signature offer, like my main
So let me ask you
offer.
a question about that. Do you feel like
Hmm.
you are devaluing your I guess your labor, what you're going to do
Hmm.
by doing that, or you feel like you are trying to be, as you stated, supportive of the bride and willing to negotiate and compromise if it makes sense for what you would do for them?
Yeah, so I definitely don't feel that I'm devaluing. So one another thing that I've done is I've started working with a coach, a business coach.
Yeah.
And so Maya has really helped me. Um, sorry about that. Maya has really helped me clarify my offers. So, and when I say clarify, clean them up so that I don't feel like I'm degrading my,
Yeah.
or lowering my
Yeah.
price point or what was the other word that you used?
Just negotiating or
Yeah,
compromising.
or compromising.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I ask that question and they say $1,500,
Hmm.
okay, then you just need a couple of consultations for me with me,
Right.
and I have a course, a 12-week course that I'm rolling out. It's in the works. But that course essentially is for the bride who wants to do her wedding herself, or she feels that she's going to
Mm.
use lean on a friend or something like that to be her coordinator, and they have no skill set to do this. So
Right.
let me support you by helping you help them help you, and you enroll
Yeah.
them into this 12-week course. By the time they finish the course, they'll have everything that they need to help you execute your wedding on the day of.
Mm.
So that was a long about way of saying no, because the main offer is at the top. That's my done for you service. But then
Yeah.
I have a done with you service. I have a,
Mm.
where I show you how, and then I tell you how. Now, if you're talking about some, oh my, 500 makes me feel good, then
500 for
you just need to
what?
you just need to keep popping into the IG
Right.
lives on Wednesday evenings, and you can come to the bridal, you can get access to the bridal support community over on
Right.
Facebook. And it's no disrespect, it's just
But
I
it's
have to be real with
amazing.
myself.
It's amazing
Yeah.
that people honestly will say that. You know what I'm saying? Like I know my
Mhm.
dress was more than $500. So
Yeah.
like what are you doing with $500? You know, just being but I know
Yeah.
that there's people out there and because and the reason why I ask you that question is because when you are starting out and people think that you just started this business so you don't know the deal and you don't have the
Right.
experience, right? So they'll try to
Right.
come to you and say, well, you're willing to take anything to kind of like make your business known, that you're going to
Right.
just take anything. And I feel like
Right.
that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if you're going to support me and understand my
Correct.
worth and my value and understand what I'm doing here,
Correct.
and
Correct.
for someone like yourself who I know you're all heart, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that when you put your heart in it and people screw you over, for lack of a better word, it can take not necessarily your passion away, but it can bruise a little bit, it can sting a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make you feel like if this is how it's gonna be, I can't, I just can't. And so I'm so glad that you said that because even as you are passionate about being a wedding coordinator and with events and stuff, you know that there are other parts to the business that you need to
Mhm.
have help with, which is why you have a business coach and other
Mhm.
aspects to this journey, to this experience, other people that you're going to ask to kind of help this business continue to grow and be as awesome as it is. And I think that that is so important
Mhm.
because many times we want to go on this journey by ourselves because of whatever reasons, thinking we can do it
Yeah.
all. But the reality is
Yeah.
that there really is no I in team, and that you have to be open to learning from others in order to be
Yeah.
successful, right? Which is why
Yeah.
I just would definitely wanted to do this, because I feel like we
Mhm.
all can learn from each other's experiences. Whether I can
Mhm.
relate to you as a wedding coordinator or not, the
Right.
journey. There's still stuff that we all go through that's pretty universal, right? And
Yeah.
um, I think that that is just so important.
Yeah. If I could add to
Yeah.
something that you just said. So one of the things, and I think I started to touch on this earlier and then got excited and forgot to finish it, but we're back to it here. What my philosophy is, if I made the vow to not do this unsupported and without a team,
Mm,
what makes you think that you can?
right.
Like,
That's
it's
good.
just that simple. So a learning experience. I arrived to a wedding in California
Hmm.
by myself.
Wow.
And that first wedding that I did with over 325 guests, the bridal party was very supportive. Like they understood their roles and all that good stuff. The venue was super supportive. Like it was a well established venue. So, their support staff, I felt like I had a team of like 50 people, and I'm not exaggerating,
Oh,
Elaine. And
wow.
so when I saw it, it gave me hope. Like I'm a visionary. So I saw my future, and I was like, this is what I will have one
Yeah.
day, like a team, an army of people to be able to assist with executing on his day up. So
Yeah.
when I showed up to that, I arrived at that wedding in California, and there were so many things that went well. But
Yeah.
because so many things have been going well and even went well on that day, the one or two things that slipped through the crack, it would, even though as minor as it may have been, it was massive, right? And
Mm.
so from that experience, I said, Shayla, you are not ever in life from that at that wedding, that weekend of that wedding, I'd established my production team. And so now I do not show
Wow.
up to a wedding without myself and at least two to four other people, depending on the size of the
Yeah. Yeah.
party. And I'm even niching it down now and holding firm to I cannot show up without myself and four others on my
Yeah.
production team, because it's just so much, there's so many moving parts,
Yeah.
and it's impossible for one person to do it all.
Yeah.
So that's my
Absolutely.
question. Like, if I see that I'm not able to do this unsupported and
Yeah.
without a team, why the heck would you do that to yourself?
I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask you to put a gem out there, and I'm going to take that because that in
Yes.
itself is a gem. I love it. So,
Yes,
Shayla,
ma'am.
I can personally talk to you all day, but
No, yes.
I know we gotta
Likewise.
close. We gotta close, and I want to find out what is next for you. What is going on next for Shayla Rene?
So the next big thing is that 12-week course. I'm excited
Yes.
to roll that out, and sometime in the very near future, within the next 2 years, and I'm putting it in space because we're going to be able to play this back. And so you're hearing it here. My vision is clear.
Yes.
I will have a venue space.
Hold on,
I will have a
Okay.
venue space.
Say that. Hold on one second. What happened?
Bobby.
Okay. Say that part again. Which you said
So
which you have to repeat.
I'm
Okay.
saying it here. You're hearing it first. My vision is clear. Within the next 2 years, my goal is to have an event venue space. So, um,
Yes.
I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about
Oh,
that.
I love it. And you know what? I can see it. I can literally see it.
Mm,
And
yay,
I'm
thank
excited.
you.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Ah,
I can't
I'm
either.
excited.
I am too. I am too.
Let
I
me tell
am
you
too.
something. I love seeing, first of all, people that I love and consider, my friends and sisters, but women, you know, black women just doing it, just
Mm,
going through the different challenges and the different experiences that we have against us, for us,
yeah,
and we're still really uplifting each other and keeping the train moving. I just love seeing
yeah,
us just come out of this concrete jungle as a rose. And I
yeah.
honestly am inspired by you. I I
Mm,
really admire you. I'm encouraged by you. And I
mm,
definitely see more for you. Even
thank
more
you.
past what you see for yourself. I know that there's more. And
Mm,
I honestly can't wait to see it and to go to the opening of your place, okay? Because I
yes,
will be flying down,
ma'am.
okay?
Yes, ma'am. You will be.
Absolutely.
You all
Yes.
will be there. Front
Ah,
Street by Sonju. That's
yes.
gonna be the name of it. So
Woo!
yes,
I'm
I can't
excited.
wait. I can't wait. Oh, Elaine, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for
Yes.
your affirming words. And, you are also one who I admire as well and look up
Oh,
to. You're a woman of grace, style, class, and to even see you stepping out there and walking in your purpose even further now with doing, this whole situation. So
yeah.
just keep at it, and let's just keep encouraging each other and giving each other that little extra push that we may need at times to get
Yes.
across the finish line.
Yes. Thank you. Tell
You're
us before
welcome.
you leave us, how do we get in contact and connect with you? Everything Shayla Rene.
Yes. So on Sunju Weddings and Events on Instagram,
Yes.
I am Sunju Weddings and Events, and the amazing team has it right here.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, and then my website is Sonju SONJU.com. If you go /bridal support, you'll see all the links to all the different things that I have going on that can give you the support that you may feel that you need. And then if you want to join the bridal support community, which is just a private Facebook group on Facebook, you can just search SWE bridal support community, and it'll populate. Fill out the little questionnaire and we'll get you in there and we'll get you sorted.
I love it. Y'all want to get connected to everything Sunju? You will not be disappointed. I don't
Oh,
put anybody just on this
thank
guest
you.
list. I mean, this is
That's
some
correct.
serious business. Okay, so I'm letting y'all know
Yes.
this is good money here. She's awesome. Okay.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Elaine.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today. I know
Mm-hmm.
there will be many people that are going to be touched and inspired and motivated through your
Mm.
journey. Um, and so I'm excited. I just can't wait to even show this, but I'm excited. And I wish you
Yay.
all the
Yay.
best. God
Thank
continue
you.
to be with you. And yes, we will definitely keep in touch and continue to support each other. And I love you, girl.
I love you too. Give my love to the boys, all your boys too.
I absolutely will. All right,
All
y'all.
right.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share with everyone you know about what experience you had today. Okay, My Vision is Clear Experiences is here every week, and we want you to continue to tune in and let everyone know. Until then, take care.